tell you that there was a major decision made today. No one saw that coming. If we may call it a master stroke from someone who is known to be a master strategist, the President Bola Tinubu seems to have wielded a big stick, and a lot of changes have now happened in the top military rank in the country. So this is what he did today. The President made some changes in the hierarchy in the service chiefs. He has replaced General Christopher Musa with General Olufemi Oluyede, who is now going to be serving as the Chief of Defense Staff. The President also appointed Major General Shaibu as the new Chief of Army Staff, Air Vice Marshal Aneke as the Chief of Air Staff, and Rear Admiral Abbas as the new Chief of Naval Staff. The Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General Undine Ndeye, retains his position. The change was announced in a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President of Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dare, earlier today. The development they say, is in furtherance of the efforts of the federal government of Nigeria to strengthen the national security architecture. Well, our major focus planned for tonight, is being the issue of constitution. And there's someone who says he understands what could be the solution to Nigeria's problem. He's a former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, who will be breaking it all down. There is a blueprint that can get Nigeria out of the woods and get us to the promised land. But before we get talking to him, what does this decision of the president today, what does this mean for our nation? Let me bring in a retired military general, General Anthony Etolagbe, who is live for us to give us an understanding what it means, the decision of President Bola Tinubu. Someone who has been in the high commanding position in the Nigerian military, and someone who served in the field, and someone who has been in administration, the change of guard in the top hierarchy of the Nigerian military means something, especially on the heels of a rumored coup plan in Nigeria. And this is coming. Nobody heard it. Rumors never got it that this was going to happen. But did you see that coming?
I think there will be some excitement within the armed forces because of this new deployment. And the reason is very simple. This is in line with the harmonized terms and conditions of service, that service chiefs should spend 2 years, and at the discretion of the president, perhaps maybe he can give some additional time. And this was the practice until we had some kind of extensions. Not very, very okay for the system. So this is a bold step, a very bold one, and it's going to make the military to align properly with its, the procedures or the necessary steps that needs to be taken in the career progression of officers. When you allow officers to overstay, you dim the light on the head of the other ones that are behind. But this president has done something that is remarkable. And in fact, I know that the system will be quite excited with this development.
So there are two things that I'm curious about, General, is the fact that there are two people that are prominent here. They were just retained, and that's the Chief of Defense Intelligence. And the Chief of Army Staff has now been promoted to become the most senior military officer in the land. I understand he served at the 39th course. And the new Chief of Army Staff probably served at the 41 course. I mean, if I'm not sure if I'm right with that the class of their training. But you look at those who are retained and those who have let go. Could there be any strategic reason behind that decision?
Okay, some of these some of these considerations. I think there might not be need for me to start breaking it down for the public, but I want to tell you that from what I know as to the seniority of these officers, they fit appropriately to where they are right now. And a career progression also allows for continuity in the operations that are being carried out within the country. So you see a situation where both the CDS and the Chief of Army Staff are people who are coming from the theater and who are perhaps broadly aligned with the security situation within the country. So, to the best of my understanding, look at it, the Chief of Defense Staff is an infantry officer. The Chief of Army Staff is an armored officer. These aligns with proper military career steps that are being taken, not just bringing people to come and serve because of either lobbying and the rest of it. But this is just some perfect guys coming into the right place and then to steer the affairs of the armed forces.
But I mean, one is curious though, General, that the question was about the retainment of some of these people. I mean, one would have thought that it was going to be a total clear out, but there must be a strategic thinking about the retainment and how some of others were changed. But the curiosity here is the coup rumor, and the military saying that never happened. The federal government didn't say so much about it, but the military had come out to say there is no iota of truth. But I mean, I'm one person who likes to read in between the lines, and if you look at the statement from the presidency, it speaks volume. And the kind of task that the presidency is putting the new officers to, it means something. It means that something went wrong. And a lot of the times when this kind of changes happen and you don't hear about it, especially those of us who have our ears to the ground, there is something wrong. And I perceive with those who are in the intelligence community who know that there must have been some agitation within the rank and file that have led to some of what we have seen in the past. Denial, the rumor, and all of that. The presidency taking this kind of decision, could there be a fire that's been prompted by smoke?
Okay. I understand where you are actually coming from, and I think I understand where you are going. What the presidency must have done, there are certain steps that can be taken if there are rumors or if there are issues of this nature. And there are information that are meant for the public, and there are other information that are not meant for the public. So they have the reserve to make the choice as to what to divert to the public. That is number one. Especially when, if you hear a rumor and it's not actually causing any rancor or causing any problem within the system. Yes, it's true that people may suspect that something is responsible for another thing, coming from the fact that perhaps there was a rumor that a certain thing, action was to take place or so. But I want you to also align with yourself with the fact that just as I started, this deployment, number one, is just in line with the armed forces harmonized terms and conditions of service, which provide for 2 years. And then not only that, for a career, for somebody who is like the Chief of Defense Staff, who was Chief of Army Staff, look at it. If you check, he came in to stand in for the late chief, okay, and then later he was confirmed, and then we now find a situation where, yes, somebody of his caliber needed to perhaps is found worthy to take over the affairs of the Chief of Defense Staff Office. That is just purely on fitness, on capacity, on competencies, and other professional considerations. Then for the CDI, for example, who is still within the limits, I mean, still within the period, he's still within his period of service, okay, to remain in service, then perhaps somebody like him, having found him that he has been working hard and maybe he has been doing other things along the intelligence line that perhaps it goes beyond what is being experienced before. Definitely such kind of thing is being rewarded. And that might be a consideration for somebody like him to have been retained. So not necessarily minding the fact that he has been there, then having to change him. But in the intelligence community, for example, there might be need for some continuity to continue to, follow the track on which the intelligence gathering is going. And then if they find him that he has been doing something beyond his capacity, going into some innovations and other things, such a person usually considered to either to be retained or given some more time to do better jobs for the service.
Quickly, General, before we go, when this kind of change happens, are there likely to be some dramatic changes as far as result is concerned? Should we be expecting some result immediately?
Okay, let me just take it from where I stopped before, that people who are taken from the infantry and the armored corps, as far as I know, I was on the infantry, I know that they are better exposed to military combat than any other person. And anybody, you can just say whatever thing you want to say, but I put it to anybody, the experiences of those who are being commanding men right from being a private, being a lieutenant, captain, major, and the rest of it, you cannot compare those experiences, even in terms of emotional intelligence, as to knowing the situation with your troops and the rest of it, the type of equipment that they require to do their jobs. These are just the right fit to do the job for this time, especially this time period that we're in this security situation, the security situation. And I look forward to seeing things to get better, because this is a challenge, especially to General Shaibu, who is coming from the theater. He has seen exactly what transpires within the operation area, operation environment. Those kind of requests that he was making from the Chief of Army Staff, he is now in a position to see how he can even do things better than those that were ahead of him, to see how this insecurity situation will be well combated and then put to a close.
Major General Anthony Atolagbe, a retired Nigerian Army general, who is a military expert and advisor, who served as field commander of the task force operation for counter-terror operations in north-central Nigeria. Thanks so much for the insight you have given to us on this subject matter tonight. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much, and good night to the viewers.
Thanks so much.